It's equally violent indoors and outdoors. And I remember I was cross-examining their only expert who was Canadian. And it went 2 days because he testified in French, and so it goes much slower. So I actually had an occasion to go back to my home and think, how do I get him to agree they're not the same? And so I realized, I showed up the next day, and before he even said hello, just sits down in the corridor and goes, tell me what violence is. So he didn't have a chance to think about it. And I got exactly what I thought I'd get. Violence is a power imbalance between people leading to some degree of emotional turmoil. And I said, so when you're saying indoor sex work is as violent as outdoor sex work, you're talking about turmoil. You're talking about power imbalance. Yeah, you're not talking about whether people are assaulted and kidnapped as much indoor and outdoor. Yeah, and suddenly their whole case fell apart because they're redefining what violence is to create a beautiful world. Well, you know what? It's not so beautiful, and there's a lot of work situations that have power imbalances that we don't consider inherently morally degrading. They're just power imbalances, and we try to create some sort of balance by giving labor a little bit of empowerment, but we don't just sort of ban the whole activity saying you shouldn't be in it. So then, you know, when I'd ask them, well, tell me why an escort going on location should not be allowed to hire a bodyguard. Because they're all pimps. So I'd say, well, studies show that the vast majority of sex workers aren't pimped. They're independent operators. They're lying, right? And that's how it would go. They're lying. Then I'd read them the Fraser report from 1985 where it says they're independent operators. This is just wrong. They didn't speak to the right people. You know? But here's the thing. The fear of pimp is haunting rational debate. They exist, and I think they're disgusting people, by the way. But the prevalence isn't there. And when you say you shouldn't be able to hire someone who can protect you because you won't be able to discern who's a pimp and who's a protector, well, that's pretty disrespectful of human agency. The real way you go about this, in my opinion, is sex workers should have autonomous choice to make decisions to protect themselves. And they'll find out if they've made a mistake and hook up with some psychopathic person. So we allow them to create their own safe and secure environment, and we take all the money that we target to go after these people, and we put it into creating safety nets for the vast majority of survival sex workers who want to get out. So you don't go after the people that are, I'm not going to say have a good time, but are going in with their eyes open and doing what they want to do, and you put the money into non-law enforcement activities to protect people who are impoverished, drug addicted, and need help. That's the way you operate in a civilized manner. That's the way you operate in a country which says it's dedicated to the rule of law. Ideology is an abstraction. It's fun. I teach at a university, okay? We spend our time just talking ideology, you know? It's like people just pleasuring themselves, really. But it is an abstraction. There are concrete issues of safety and security. You should never allow an abstraction to distract you from consideration of real issues. The inherently degrading perspective is interesting, but would not have saved any of the 26 victims from the pig farm, right? A rational and realistic legal approach to sex work could save lives. And saving lives has to be what law is all about. I've been in law for 28 years. And that's the only thing I can really say when I think, what should law be doing? Protecting us and saving lives. To me, law is of no value and deserves very little respect when it's more concerned with sending out the right moral message than it is with concern for people's basic vulnerability and security. So it's just a question of getting the priorities right, and hopefully this court case will be the first step in changing our priorities to do the right thing. Thanks.